Hi, my name is Christina Nolan, and this is Public Speaking 101. Former U.S. President Jimmy Carter once said, "The measure of society is found in how they treat their weakest, most vulnerable citizens." And right now in America, over 650,000 people are unhoused on any given night. And that's according to a 2024 study from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. That's the highest number on record. Homelessness is one of the biggest challenges that's facing our nation today. It's being fueled by unaffordable housing and broken systems. But there are innovative solutions like 3D printed homes that can help us rewrite this story. Whether you're in New York, Chicago, or right here in Los Angeles, you see the issues every single day. And while it's easy to feel powerless, the truth is each of us can play a part in addressing it. After researching both the crisis and the problem, the crisis and possible solutions, I found that some approaches are not only promising, but are already working in communities across the country. Let's begin with the scope of the problem. The 2024 HUD report I just mentioned shows homelessness climbing past 653,000 people, with the biggest increase among families and those who have been homeless for long periods of time. And according to the National Alliance to End Homelessness in 2025 report, the crisis grew by 12% in just 1 year. That's 12% in 1 year. California and New York are carrying the heaviest burden. Beyond the statistics, in 2025, beyond the statistics, a 2025 report by Fusion Housing shows that people of color, veterans, and people with mental health issues are hit the hardest. And the impact is devastating. It hurts people's health, disrupts education for children, and it puts women and families at serious risk. Homelessness isn't just the lack of a roof, it's the loss of dignity and stability. So, why is this happening? One major reason is the lack of affordable housing. Harvard's Joint Center for Housing Studies in 2025 found that two-thirds of working individuals, and these are full-time working individuals, can't cover their basic needs because the rent eats up their entire paycheck. In other words, even people with a full-time job are falling behind. And another factor is that uh, rent protections, and another factor is that rent protections don't always do what they promise. The Los Angeles Public Press reported, yes, the Los Angeles Public Press reported, that's very hard to say by the way. The Los Angeles Public Press reported in 2025 that even under rent control, tenants are still facing evictions. And then there's the systemic and personal challenges. A 2023 study by Back on My Feet, which is also a nonprofit organization, they point out, so that's one of my cards, but that's okay. I was done with that. Uh, 2023, Back on My Feet made a report, and they basically are saying they point out that between job loss, medical bills, mental health struggles, and weak support systems, keep people trapped in a cycle that's hard to escape. Now, now we know the problem and the causes. So let's talk about possible solutions. On a larger scale, we have technology. Technology has given us brand new hope. In 2021, .LA, and that's DOT.LA, so it's technically .LA, explain how 3D printed homes can help build faster, cheaper, and more sustainable than traditionally built homes. And a 2025 report from the Stand Together Foundation shows that Icon is a Texas-based company that has already built an entire neighborhood of the homes in Austin for people who are unhoused. These Icon has already built an entire community in Austin, Texas for the unhoused. These houses are safe, they're strong, and they cost as little as $10,000 to produce. $10,000 to produce compared to $150,000 or more for traditional build homes. Now, let's take the story of Tim Shea, for example. Tim Shea lives in Austin, Texas, and he has been homeless for over 15 years before Icon gave him a 3D printed home. He said the very first night he went into his home, he locked his doors, he laid in his bed, and he cried. Not because he was sad, but for the first time in his life, he felt safe. Now he has a strong, stable, he has support, and he has a part-time job, and he's also mentoring other people in his community. His story shows that it's not just science fiction. This is actually happening right now. But it's not just about the house. It's also about the support around it. Path, a Los Angeles nonprofit, sorry, Path, a nonprofit organization here in Los Angeles, shows that when housing is paired with mental health, job training, and addiction support, people are able to come up out of this problem. You know, they don't just get shelter, they get stability. And while that is on the larger scale, we have a smaller scale where each of us can have a part in helping the situation. We can donate, we can volunteer with groups like PATH, Fusion, or even Back on My Feet, which are already on the ground doing the hard work for us. All we have to do is either donate some money or donate some time. That's what we can do. We can also advocate for policies that um, are advocate for affordable housing, you know, and support innovative approaches like 3D printed homes. Voting is right around the corner, you guys. November is pretty much here. Vote, advocate. And we also have the technology of 3D printed homes. Now, some critics argue that 3D printed homes are too new or too futuristic. But as we've seen, people in Austin are already living this. We see Tim Shea out there. He's already living this dream. Others say that, you know, the cost is too high. But when you compare $10,000 for a house compared to the cost of shelters, jail, and hospital visits, the price comparison is obvious. The savings are definitely obvious. So here's the bottom line. Homelessness is rising in America. It's fueled by skyrocketing rents. It's fueled by broken policies, systemic barriers. But with innovative solutions like 3D printed homes, community 3D printed homes, wraparound programs like Fusion and PATH, and other community programs, we can offer people more than just a shelter, more than just a roof. We can offer them stability and dignity. Today, we looked at the scope of homelessness, the root causes, and the real world solutions that are already making a difference. I want to leave you with this. Imagine walking down a street that was once filled with tents, and instead of those tents, you see rows of 3D printed homes. Seeing safe, sturdy, affordable homes, each with a safe environment, and support from their community. You see, these homes are not just representing shelter, but they're representing restored dignity. Thanks to technologies like 3D printing. I'm so sorry if you hear noise in the background, it's my cats playing. They think it's time for me to wrap this up. Okay, sorry. But thanks to new technologies like 3D printing homes, it's not that it's in the future. It's already here. It's already being built. And with that said, everyone, thank you for listening. My name is Christina Nolan, and this is Public Speaking 101. So I want it all